It's Do Time with Pastor Steph.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. Rise and shine. You're on with this Do Time with Pastor Steph. How are you this morning? That's what I like to hear. That's what I like to hear. For this is the day the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. So, where were you all week? We started off the week shaking the Monday morning blues with the Do Time crew. And we talked about some warning signs that you're dealing with an evil person. And I pushed it to ask, are you the evil person? They say, if you enjoy or they enjoy the misfortune of other people. Do you like to see people, or do they like to see people kind of go down and get in trouble and, not have the things that they once had, and, now they're not smiling as much. They're not happy, they had a man and now they don't have a man, and now you grinning. Okay. Well, you gotta pay attention to stuff like that. Do they have control issues? Do they need to control every single thing that gets done? It has to be their way. It has to be something that they have some say in. Is that the deal with them? What about the fact that they are habitually just dishonest? Everything they do, or the most stuff that they do, is like real questionable. You're like, yo, what's going on with you? I don't know, y'all. Well, these are some of the things that were pointed out to find out if you are possibly dealing with an evil person. Why? Because, everything you talk about, people, excuse me, these people got mental illness, and that mental illness is something else, and mental illness. Well, everything is not mental illness. The enemy is the prince of this world, and he has all of his people with him. So it's bound to be some evil people out here. If the enemy is the prince of this world, that means that he's doing a whole lot. He's got a whole lot of people up in his corner. Yeah. So pay attention. Well, we had the enemy, as the focal attention this morning. This week. And we then talked with the ladies about some of the lies that the enemy will tell us, and then we'll subsequently believe. And one of the things that came up on this list is that you need more. Do you have like an insatiable appetite? Like, no matter what you get, it's always your eyes, your sight is on something else. You gotta have that next thing. Okay, now that I conquered this, I gotta now get that. Now that I did this, I gotta get that. Now that this is in my, my bond, I gotta get that for my bond. Is that something that you're always doing? Because the Bible speaks of greed and gluttony. And that's pretty much what that is. Always reaching, always reaching, always reaching, always reaching, always reaching for that something. And you don't want to be known in God's eyes for never being satisfied. That's not something that's going to go over well with God. Okay? What else are some of the lies that the enemy will tell us? Oh, God will not be faithful to you. And I brought up the other day, just the fact that you're in front of the screen is showing that God is faithful to you. Yeah, that's faithfulness right there. He woke you up this morning to give you another chance to get this thing right. That's faithfulness right there, because he don't owe you that. He does not owe you that by far. He does not owe you that. What about your sins are not forgiven? How many people walk around feeling like that? Like no matter what they do, God is not forgiving them. That they carry that weight, that they can't forgive themselves. This is why they feel God can't forgive them. And that's a lot of weight that the enemy has you carrying around. The word of God says, Jesus is helping us by inviting us in. He's helping us by saying, come to me, all you who are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. I will give you peace. I'm there. Now, does that sound like a God who won't forgive your sins? He wants you to just get off that. Get that off of you. Stop having that saddled on you. Oh, I did that. I can't forgive myself. Oh, God ain't gonna forgive me for that one. That one was a big sin. I can forgive, a whole lot of things, but I can't forgive that. And I know God can't forgive that. No. He's inviting you to come on and lay those burdens at his feet. Lay that issue, that mistake at his feet. You don't want to carry that stuff around, because how are you moving? How are you moving on to the next thing? How are you getting past this thing here if everything is being held in God's hands and he's not letting anything go? He's not forgiving anything. And finally, we talked about we are not worthy of God's love and blessings. Sometimes God is just showering you with things and you don't even know how to handle it. I'm not worthy of this. I'm not worthy, all the stuff that I've done. Yes, the rain falls on the just as well as the unjust. But when God has a blessing with your name on it, you want to make sure that you are receiving it and you're grateful. You don't want to take it and now you don't even look back and give God thanks. No, you want to make sure that you take it and you understand that it's a blessing. You want to take it and understand that you are worthy of that love that God has for you, that blessing that God has for you. So we're gonna have to get up off that thing. Get up off that thing. So, I want to go back, and I held on to this for the end, and the switch tip for the week. Stop pushing past God's protection. Stop pushing past his protection. Stop thinking that you have nothing to worry about. And you just going to keep on going and keep on going and keep on going. You're going to have to put a pause in that thing and check with God and make sure you're in the right place. You're going to have to put a pause on that thing and make sure you converse with God to make sure that all is okay. You have to really be in that one-to-one moment where God is just pricking your heart to do the right thing. Because I'm going to tell you something. If you sit in a certain area of your life, if you sit in a certain area of the things that you've done, you're going to walk out of that protective barrier. Because in order for us to stay protected, we're going to have to do some things. You're just not going to be protected now. That's just not going to happen. That is just that it doesn't work like that. There are certain things you have to do to stay within the protection of God. There are certain things you're going to have to do to make sure you stay within the protection of God. Let me say that again. For those of you who may not be getting this thing here, there are things that you must do to stay in the protection of God. If God is trying to protect your money, if he's trying to protect your finances, if he's trying to protect your bank account, he wants you to have a certain amount of money for a rainy day, or he wants you to have a certain amount of money to keep your expenses covered, you're going to have to stay within God's protection. Now, how's that happening? Don't be out there just spending your money, as they say, all willy-nilly. You can't just be out there just splurging. Because once you do that, then you're stepping out of God's protection. When you start giving money away, every time you turn around, they know you got a couple, you got a raise on your job and you living comfortably and you're traveling and people have a sense that you got money. So now they keep coming and they asking you every time they need a bailout. They didn't do what they wanted to do with their money. And now you need to be bailing them out. So they always, and you're like, okay, well, oh girl, it's no problem. Or, oh, okay, mom, it's no problem. Okay, sis, it's no problem. Okay, cuz, it's no problem. You stepping out of God's protection because God, because of your obedience and because he wants to protect you, he has kept you within that protective barrier. And now, every time you turn around, you put that money out there and you're gambling that you'll get it back. And now here it is, something comes up and now you don't have the money. You have stepped out of God's protection. He protected you by giving you that to cover you. He didn't give it to you to cover you, and now you out there splurging, or now you out there just passing it out. No, it doesn't work like that. There are so many ways to step out of God's protection. There's so many ways to just push past that point. And you're going to have to stay before the Lord. That was just one example of how we push past, God's protection. When we are in a pocket of life where we're comfortable and we can afford everything comfortably, and now we got a couple of extra dollars. He's given us a raise on the job. He's paid off some old bills. And now we can kind of coast a little bit and we can breathe. We have come up out of that where we sweating and trying to figure out how we're going to pay tomorrow's bill. And then we like, oh, I got a couple extra dollars. And then we go make an investment on an unwise investment. That's stepping out of God's protection. So come on, we got to be smart about this thing. We want to make sure we do what God wants us to do. Make sure that we're doing everything that God instructs us to do. How do we know that? Because we're staying before the Lord. All right? All right. So make sure you go back and watch all week. All week, this week has been extremely unpredictable. Yes, it has been extremely unpredictable here on His Due Time. And we have been hit left and right with some gems. I advise you to go back and get those gems. Okay? All right. Well, today is Freestyle Friday, and we get to do whatever it is we want to do today. Well, we get to talk to our men, see what they got to say. Let's hope that they're on their best behavior. Well, I'm going to give you an opportunity to go and get that healthy breakfast. Go and tell somebody that it's Due Time with Pastor Steph is on, and whatever you do, don't go anywhere because we will be right back.
There's one surefire way to fight it, and that's increasing screening rates. You probably heard me talk about a test called the Colo test, and this is a fit test that allows you to screen at home in a non-invasive manner. And the way it works is it detects blood in your stool, which can be one of the earliest signs of colon cancer, and it's for average risk individuals. One of the best things about Colo test is actually how easy it is to use. There's a piece of collection paper, a sampler, and a collection tube with simple instructions to follow. You get your results almost instantly, so when you're done, you simply just wait a few minutes to see the results. No doctor's offices, no waiting rooms, no waiting around, and no excuses. And the best part, it only costs $20. The Colo test is available on Walmart, Amazon, CVS, and Rite Aid. Whether you're shopping online or picking up essentials, it's right there for you.
Good morning, and good morning again. Welcome back to It's Due Time with Pastor Steph, and it is Freestyle Friday. We made it, y'all, by the grace of God, because God is so faithful, because He has forgiven us for our sins, because He has not dealt with us according to our iniquity. We're here, giving God thanks that we have not pushed past His protection, and we are together, and we are in our right frame of mind. That there is no joke. It takes a lot to remain in our right frame of mind. When those blows are coming at you here and there, we give God thanks. We give God thanks. So, are you in the room? Make sure you check in with Pastor Steph and let her know that you're in the room. All right, let's say good morning to our girl, Ketty. Hello, Ketty. Good morning. Thank you so much for joining us. We're saying a good morning to our girl, Tamika, our lady Tamika. Hey, Tamika. Good morning. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. And we got to make sure that we say good morning to the ladies who hold us down and make sure we're rocking and rolling every single morning. Let's say good morning to Shantice. Good morning, Shantice. And Anika. Good morning, Anika. Thanks to them, we have our Facebook Live and our YouTube Live. Thank you. Amen. Amen. Well, it's Friday, and we always start our Fridays off with some level of trivia. And today, we're talking about some everyday things from back in the day that are no longer in effect, okay? That people don't do anymore, okay? Oh, they wrote in and said, I remember when pants weren't allowed on airplanes. Men had to wear a matching pantsuit So they started that off all wrong. I remember when pants weren't allowed. I mean, you had to put on a whole suit in order to ride the plane. Yeah, you had to look like you were going somewhere and you were somebody. All righty. Back in the 60s and 70s, before cars had chimes and buzzers, people regularly forgot to turn off their headlights and left their car doors unlocked. If you came across a car like that, you could lean in and turn the lights off for them, and it happened frequently. Yeah, remember when people would leave their lights on, and it wouldn't even ding, 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 or the door was open, ding, 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 or the light on the dashboard. There was no light on the dashboard. Remember that? Wow, that's crazy. Imagine those things these days. Like, we don't even know what those, we don't know we didn't know what those things were like, back in the day. All right. They say you used to be able to go into someone's house during Halloween to get candy. Wow. I vaguely remember that. I don't know about that. Grocery stores used to hand out stamps with grocery purchases. Our moms would have us lick the stamps and put them in a little booklet. With enough stamps, we could redeem products like small appliances, like a toaster or an iron. And this was a common household practice. I remember that. Remember that? They used to have a book, and you used to, they give you, and like if you bought stuff, like as a reward, or they would give you the thing, and then after, like every month, you go handle it and hand it in, and it was an iron for the month or a toaster for the month. Yeah, I remember that. Boy, I'm a 60s girl. I remember that stuff there. Cable TV did not exist. You only had 3 TV channels to watch: ABC, CBS, NBC, and that was it. Now, I don't go back that far. I do remember having 2, 4, 5, 7, 9, 11, and 13. And there was a U channel. And that you could get like channel 47, which was the wrestling, and channel 21, and like some PBS channel and things like that. Yeah, I remember that. Listen, if you remember some stuff from back in the day that we just don't have anymore, we just don't do anymore, give me a holler, and make sure you checking in and let me know that you're in the room. Okay. All righty. All right. The Charles chips, man. The potato chips were delivered in a big yellow and brown tin canister and were the best chips ever. I'm sure they probably had other stuff too, but I only remember the chips. I don't remember that. Back in the 60s and 70s, if you were thirsty, you could just drink water from the garden hose. I do remember that. And I'm going to go a step further. I remember when you used to be able to go to the fire hydrant and drink water. And boy, that was the best water. It was cold. Or you used to go to the bathroom sink. Remember this, y'all? Yes. Man, that was some good water. The garden hose, the fire hydrant, and the bathroom sink. Whew. Child. We had a ROTC shooting range with rifles provided and a student smoking area in the high school. Wow. It was like that. Make sure if you remember some stuff, you put in the chat room. I'm coming to the chat room. I'm going to check it out and see if you remember some stuff. There were no car seats for children or infants at the time. Man, it'll be 15 of us loaded up in the car. We'd be sitting on one another's laps. Whoever could fit in the car would get in the car. We would just make that road trip. Yeah. Especially like if it was like a real quickie thing, you going up the block around the corner. Yeah, they just throw you up in the car. No big deal. No seatbelts in the cars at all. And I think about now when we get in the car, like if you ride in the front seat and you feel so naked. Yeah. In the 80s, Mom used to call various neighbors to check on where we were. She knew most of the families because she grew up in the neighborhood. And if she didn't call, the neighbors called her. By the time my parents passed away, I knew almost none of the neighbors. Yeah, then the neighbors are not neighbors anymore. I remember that. Neighbors aren't neighbors anymore. Let me see if you remember some stuff. You putting some stuff in the chat room. All righty. We got some check-ins. We've got hey Serge. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Oh, we got Mrs. Harris in the room. Mama Harris. That's Ainsley's mother. Good morning, Mrs. Harris, Mama Harris. Thank you so much for joining us today. I hope you enjoy the morning show. Mrs. Harris is always on with us on My 2 Cents. Yes, she is. And she checks out the shows and the movies. Yeah. So she keeps up with the conversation. Oh, yeah. Tamika says, I remember when you could buy one and get one free. Really meant it. Right? Wow. Ketty said, a record player, you can play 45s or an album, the LP, the big ones. Yep. Or the 12-inch songs. I looked at an album, Ketty, online the other day, and the whole album was like 35 minutes. It was like 8 songs. Remember, y'all? The album had 4 songs on each side. No, it was not like, what we've grown to have like 12, 13, 15 songs on the whole album. No, that whole album was 35 minutes. That was it. And you were done. No, remember when we were able to put a 45 on and you could play side A and side B because both songs were good and you bought it for one side and then you just flipped it over and you could jam to the other side? Yeah, child, please. You got a whole album, one song on the whole album. You like, Shanti says, I remember when you could get a good snack from the store for 50 cents. You could get, good snacks from the store for 50 cents. Yes. All righty. We had to carry all of our textbooks in our arms, walking to and from school because there were no backpacks at the time. Yes. I was here before the backpacks. Yes. And remember when the backpacks first came out, you'd have to get them from the Army and Navy store because the only people that could buy them initially were the people in the military. Yeah, you didn't buy that from no 5 and dime. Remember Woolworths and Alexander's? Ooh, honey. Yes, and yes. What else? When I was 6 years old, in the early 80s, my dad would send me with cash across town to the gas station by myself to buy lottery tickets and cigarettes. There were no questions being asked back then. For real. Before there was no expectation to pick up after your dog, there'd be dog poop everywhere. I'm glad that doesn't happen today. It's true. Oh yeah. That's true. There was only one phone in the house, and it was tethered to the wall. You could forget about having private conversations most of the time. It's true. And don't be whispering. Don't call yourself whispering. Nope. When you bought a pie, you paid a pie tin deposit of 35 cents. It later increased to 50 cents, then $1. You had to take the pie tin back after cleaning it to get your deposit back. Wow. That's before my time. I don't remember that. Wow. In the late 50s, we hitchhiked everywhere. When was the last time you saw someone on the side of the road with their thumb up? You better not. You won't get back. And you won't get to your destination either. All right. People used to smoke on airplanes. There were ashtrays in the armrests. They smoked in the hospital rooms and on trains too. People smoked everywhere. No matter where you went, they'd be puffing. Puffing on the bus, puffing on the job, puffing everywhere. In the stores. And now, let somebody bust out a cigarette, you're like, oh my goodness. Yeah. Yeah. Once the Clean Air Act came in, man, your whole everything changed. Your tolerance was not the same. I remember carbon paper to make copies. Your fingers were a mess for hours. It's true. Remember, you had to turn it over and then put it in between the paper and write. Yes. And then the other side was blue. The carbon sheet was blue. Yeah, I remember that. We got a check in from our Terrence. Good morning, Terrence. How are you today? Thank you for joining us. Let's see what else they're talking about back in the day. I remember when all grocery stores had a bag boy. It was usually a teenager who'd not only bag the groceries, but also take them to the car and load them up for you. It's true. It's true. Remember that? They would pack your, no, excuse me. I remember when the cashier would pack your bag. Now, child, they push that thing on down the aisle and you holding up the whole line if you didn't went shopping for the house. Yeah, because they just, they standing there leaning. So one girl, she was just leaning and I was like, yo, you just can't even help pack a bag. I got to ask you to help pack a bag. Yeah, they are something else. They are something else. When I was in the 8th grade, we were allowed to pick an instrument to learn. I wanted to play the drums, but the school didn't allow me because I was a girl. Yeah. Yeah, certain instruments were kind of geared to certain genders. Yes. Girls played the flute. Yeah. Yeah. Wow. I remember in school in the late 60s, your skirt had to touch the floor when you kneeled down. Wow. 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 Okay. Let me make sure I got them all. Okay. Wow. Listen. Back in the day was back in the day back then. We think about some of the freedoms that we had at that time, and we just don't have those freedoms anymore. All righty. So let's see what we're talking about in the news. All right. Oh, I see something else popping up. Mrs. Harris says, I remember when they told the blacks to sit in the back of the bus. I remember when they had black bathrooms and white only. Yo, that must have been something else. You know, Mrs. Harris comes from an entirely different era. You know, by the time we got to, move around or whatever, it was no segregation. But, I guess at that time, Mrs. Harris, did you ever get used to being forced to use only black and white things? Did that just become a way of life? And yeah, I was always curious about that. It's like, okay, well, that's what we got to do. That's what we got to do. So tell me, let me know. I'm just curious. All right. I remember when you could rush to the bank to beat a check. Remember that? Yes. You write that check and they could not deposit it before that date. Yeah. So you had that ability to go beat that check. Yep. Wow. All right. Well, on Fridays, I like to do the celebrity thing or the, entertainment thing. So let's see. All right. Well, Beauty in Black is back. Remember, we did the My 2 Cents for the Beauty in Black Tyler Perry Netflix show. And we got a mixed Kick It and Click It. We got more Kick It than we did Click It. And some of us said that we were not going back to watch it. I was one who said, I ain't going back to watch that. It was just too much for me. Some people said that they have to go back because they needed some questions answered. and they wanted to know what happened. Well, Beauty in Black is back. They've got their new season out on Netflix. So for those of you who said you wanted to get those questions answered, such as Kimmy and her sister, because they had snatched Kimmy's sister when they were closing it down last season, I guess you could find out what happens. So yeah, they said they have 8 more shenanigan packed episodes. So I don't know if I'm gonna be watching that. I don't intend to watch that. So I guess we could find out. Y'all let me know how it goes. I guess y'all could let me know what happened with Kimmy's sister. Because I just, maybe the wind may blow and I may watch it. But as for right now, I don't think that's going to get much of my attention. Let's see what else is in the... Well, Regina Hall. Everybody knows Regina Hall. Let's see. Regina Hall is from the Married Show. Well, the Married movie. What's the name of the movie? With Taye Diggs. And she played Candy. She's from, what's that thing? The Scary Movie. She's from Girls Trip. She's from Think Like a Man. Yeah, you know her. Regina Hall. Well, Regina Hall got to talking, and she says that there's a possible sequel to Scary Movie, and we heard about that a couple of weeks ago from Marlon Wayans, and he said that, you know, him and Sean have got their pen to paper again, so she's kind of confirming that there might be a Scary Movie again. She said that they didn't think that was going to be such a, you know, well-liked movie. And she said they were very surprised. They were very, very surprised. So she says she can't wait for that to, you know, hit the air. And Girls Trip, there is talk of a second film to Girls Trip. And I liked it. It was interesting. I thought that was a good one. And they're talking about redoing that. And she's looking to be a part of both of those movies if they are to return. And she was good in both of those. So I would like to see her back. I wouldn't mind seeing her back. What else are we talking about in celebrity world? Let's see. Tony. Now, I didn't realize that Dwayne Wiggins from Tony and Raphael Sadiq, that's his other name. His real name, Raphael Sadiq's name, and I didn't realize they were brothers here. Boy, this device sure knows how to cut up when it wants to. Alrighty. That they were brothers. I didn't realize that they were brothers. Well, they're 2 brothers and a cousin. I didn't realize that. Well, Dwayne Wiggins, they say, is ill and came on him pretty suddenly. And it's kind of weird because they're saying that the family has put out something like, okay, he's ill and please give us our privacy during this time. And the only time they really talk like that is when somebody's dead. So he's still alive. They haven't quite said what it is that he's ill with. Just the fact that he is not doing well. And I guess it's pretty bad if you're asking for privacy. So I don't know. Wait for my device to kind of come back to life here so I can get us some news. But, normally I don't talk about deaths, but we did hear this week that Gene Hackman and Angie Stone passed away. And a blow to both the entertainment industry, the music industry, as well as the movie industry. Gene Hackman has been around for a long, long time. And a blow to the movie industry. And Angie Stone has been around for a long, long time as well. And both deaths were very sudden. Nobody saw either one of those things coming. And we are definitely praying for their families. Definitely praying for the families. All right, what else are we talking about in the news? Let's see. The news was really this week. I wasn't really moved with the news this week. Let's see. All right, for those of you who are Skype people, it's going bye-bye. Yes, in May, Skype is being removed by Microsoft, and they are kind of giving way to the other Skype type platform, Teams. Now, Teams came along in 2020 during the pandemic, and it kind of took over where Skype was functioning. So Microsoft is putting that to bed. So if that's what you are accustomed to using, figure out what you're going to do, because it is not going to be in existence any longer. All righty. What else are we talking about? As an update, we talked about, I believe it was last week, with the gentleman about this hazing down in Louisiana, who took the young life of Caleb Wilson at the Southern University. And they found out, as always, that they don't get the truth. And they said that they claimed that, this hazing took effect took place. That's what I want to say. Took place in the park. And they said no. They were off in some warehouse somewhere. And they were all lined up. These pledges were all lined up. They were going through some ritual of punching them in the chest. And Caleb collapsed and had a seizure. And they took him to the hospital where he was pronounced dead. So they're finding out that quite a bit of this story that was told is not true. Well, surprise, surprise, surprise. Are you really surprised? No, I wouldn't be, because they're not going to tell the truth. They're not going to tell the truth as to what happened. Yeah, they're going to lie. And, shut it down. I'm sorry. Shut down. I know that it's a big thing on these campuses. And they're saying that a lot of the fraternities and sororities have stopped a lot of their hazing and, a lot of those practices. But clearly, all of them have not. And again, I say, I don't hear nothing about no white man. I don't hear nothing about no white man. They talk about what the white man does, and white people do to them, and but this is what you're doing to your own people. This is what you're doing to your own people. This is what you're doing to your own people. You would line them up and just punch them in the chest. And they were saying that, when they did the research, and this is what I've been hearing, when they did the research, they found out that, the Greek gods and all those, they put themselves above everyone else. And this is why, the big brothers and the big sisters in these fraternities and sororities, they act the way they do, as though they're holier than thou and they're mightier, than the sword. And, these people have to be subservient to them. And, it's so over, and you would let somebody treat you like that? Because before they lined up and punched them up in the chest, they were doing some other stuff. That wasn't the first thing they did. So this is what you endure for what? For what? You figure you could just endure, or you could take it. You could take it. You gonna get through it. It's only temporary. This is only this part of the process. And so many others have made it, but yeah, you didn't make it. You didn't make it. So give it up. Give it up. Give it up. So, you know what? Just giving God thanks that a whole lot more have not perished under this entire issue of hazing. Because I'm sure a whole lot of people could have been dead. But God just spared a whole lot of lives. What else are we talking about? All right, we're talking about Trump. He's always in the news. So there was a customer in a restaurant, and I'm trying to see what happened. She left a tip that the waiter, they say, took offense to somehow. And when she left a note that said, "I hope Trump deports you." Wow. Yeah, it's at the Consuela's Mexican Cantina. And where did this take place? Trying to see what state or town this was in. Might be in California somewhere. I don't know. But the guy, the employee, was also Hispanic. His name is Ricardo. And she left that note. And they, her job, which is, what's his name? Century 21, the real estate moguls, they wrote and they said she ain't got no job no more. Nope. They fired her. Of course, well, thank God for DEI, diversity, equity. Listen, with all of this DEI issue going on, and, remember, it got to a point where they were firing anybody who was acting up. Well, these people are doing the same thing. They fired her and they said, she's not a part of our organization anymore. Well, they put a GoFundMe out, the employees and the customers put out a GoFundMe, and their goal was to raise $1,000 for Ricardo. Well, they didn't raise $7,000 for Ricardo. So I don't know if Ricardo is legal here or not, but he's got $7,000, at least as of the time of this article. So everybody ain't feeling the way this employee did. But I mean, how, again, must be one of those MAGA people who decided she was going to vent. And thus, you vented and you don't have a job. Well, at least that's what Century 21 is saying. I don't know. Maybe they're worried about houses being sold or whatever. I don't know. But yeah, they got rid of her, they said. Now, my final story for today was a really interesting one. So the CDC, thanks to Elon Musk and Trump, they got rid of quite a few people. Yeah. And do you know they sent out a letter, an email asking the people to come back. Yeah. They say that last month, the Trump administration and, their officials, they had 1,300 probationary employees at the CDC. and they let go quite a few of those, almost half, if not half, of those employees. Well, they sent out 180 emails begging the people to come back. And they're telling them, oh, you should report back on Wednesday at your regular scheduled shift. But they did not mention in this article whether they would get back money for the time that they were terminated. So even if it was 1 or 2 days, I don't know whether they were giving these people their money back. But for you to have to go back and now ask the people to come back, that'll make you look too good. I have a feeling that a lot of this is going to be happening. And so do the other powers that be. They have a feeling like they're going to be going back on a lot of this. Yeah. So I don't know. Y'all. This is a whole lot of stuff going on here. A whole lot of stuff going on here where there's going to be a lot of rescinding. Yeah. You're going to have to pay and each a whole lot of your words, starting with all of these MAGA people and how they're sounding off and they're jumping the gun and they're making these comments and insulting people. All righty. So let's see. Where is my due time crew? Shanti says, why do people put out statements and then ask for privacy? Well, that's what I always want to know. Now now that you put your business out there, now it's like, okay, hey, can you please, give us some privacy? You had your privacy before you put your information out there. I don't understand that either. Good question, Shantice. Good question. We got to check in from our girl, Athena, our health coach. Yeah. Go back and listen to last Thursday's episode. Not yesterday, last Thursday. She was fantastic. We got to check in from our boy, AJ. Hey, AJ. How you doing? All righty. Now, I'm thinking we're having some problems, some technical difficulties. We've got some due time crew members hanging out there, and we're trying to get them up. So let me see about my boy Ainsley. Good morning, brother Ainsley.
Hey, good morning. Good morning. Pastor Steph, how you doing? You sounding good this morning.
Well, thank you. So are you. You're up nice and early.
Yeah, I'm up.
This conversation. Oh, we got our boy Pastor KL hanging out in the background saying good morning to us.
That's my boy.
So, yes. So, brother Ainsley, we've got some, we started off with saying, back in the day, I remember when. Do you remember some stuff that went on back in the day that it just don't happen no more?
Back in the day. First of all, I remember, I think you mentioned this. I caught the tail end of that story as you was talking about it. I remember back in the day, it was just no seatbelts, man. That was just something in the car that nobody paid attention to.
Yep.
I remember a bitch being in the back of the car, and my parents always had the big Buick, the big back bucket seat. No, there's a big bench seat. And they go if they go around the corner too, I just go sliding on this side. I just go sliding on that side. It was just all over the place, man.
Yes.
And I remember back in the day, my grandmother, even with the church, she would just pile. It was about 15 kids. It'd be illegal today. About 15 kids into the car after service or church whatnot. We go to White Castle on Brooklyn and Empire Boulevard. Everybody get the murder burgers.
Yes, sir. Remember that?
Yeah, that's good old days, man.
Wow.
We kept thinking something that bothers me now. Still, I remember. I like Snicker bars. I remember they used to be like 25 cents, man. Now they talking about like I said just for that I'm gonna go on a diet. I want $2 now, man. I just can't see it. It's
Yes.
just the same size. I mean, like that much
Right.
different.
Right. I was gonna say it's about this big, and
Yeah,
it's
and
like
I'm
two
like, come on,
dollars.
like $2. I told the guys the
Yeah.
last time I'm buying this one. I'm gonna savor this one.
Yes, yes, yes. We do not get our money's worth any longer. So, yes, that
No,
is something to reminisce with and remember. All
yeah.
right. So, back, a Beauty in Black is back. We reviewed that on My Two Cents. It's back. They said all 8 shenanigan ridden episodes are out there. Will you be looking at that?
Not unless it's an assignment from our podcast, really. You know, I think Tyler Perry, he must have extra time on his hands. He just
Mm.
said, "I'm going to just do this," and that's it. That's how it is. Um, it is. Uh, I like the idea people are working, but still, I mean, nah,
You
I'm
ain't
not
gotta explain it
really.
to me.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
not really too sure I'm going to watch it because it's the same old. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
It's not
Okay.
like a cross series now. Some you watch them
Ooh.
from episode 2 to 3.
Ooh.
You like, hmm.
Yeah.
Nah. This is more of like, uh, I hate to say it, ghetto nonsense.
Shenanigans.
Yeah,
Yes,
shenanigans.
shenanigans. Yes.
Yeah.
Shenanigans. Well, I'm with you. I really don't see myself watching it. I just thought I'd ask you since I had you on, and they are, announcing that it is back. And by the way, Ains, I went last night and I watched episodes 5, 6, 7, and the beginning of 8 for Cross.
What? Oh.
Yes.
So I'm trying to wait till next week. So I'm trying to hold
No,
off till next week.
no.
Oh my
I'm gonna
goodness,
rewatch
sis.
it. No, I'm gonna rewatch it. It's worth rewatching. I knew I was gonna watch it twice. I'm just letting you know. I told you I was gonna watch
Okay.
it, and I did manage to watch it. So
Oh my
yeah,
goodness.
yeah, I pushed and I stayed up a little later and I watched it. So I'm gonna
Oh man,
rewatch it next
I
week.
can't
It
wait. I
was
can't
fresh in
wait.
my head. So I'll watch it. Now, let's talk about this news. Hmm. So you've got this customer in the store, in this restaurant, and she's so upset regarding something about her receipt. And she writes, I hope Trump deports you to Ricardo, the waiter. And Century 21 says, you know what? We don't tolerate that from our employees. We got rid of her. She doesn't have a job here anymore. Do you think that it was fair of them to fire her when this had nothing to do with them? It's her job on this, this is her private life. As she wasn't selling a home or anything like that, and she
Right.
wasn't calling out their name. Do you think that should be connected? I'm just curious.
You would think that it shouldn't, but it is. And when you think about it from, I guess, from a leadership or management point of view, no matter what industry, genre, business, it makes a sense because you're by association. You know what I'm saying? If I cut up here and did some nonsense, something like that, it will reflect on you somewhat. Oh, you like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
you know him,
Mm-hmm.
you hang around. Oh, so
Mm-hmm.
you
Mm-hmm.
you you kind of down with his shenanigans and stuff like that too. And
Mm-hmm.
so not only a job, I know like certain schools. I know specifically certain parochial schools. For example, I know once you wear that uniform, I know they say once you leave the school, you still represent the school when you got that uniform on. So even after
Right.
school, if you
Right.
go on the train and act up, and I know some students to get kicked out of school because of the
Mm-hmm.
stuff they did outside of school with their uniform on because you still represent.
Right.
It's guilt by association and
Right.
stuff like that. So, um, should it have? I mean, do they have? I think that responsibility. They can't do. Even the police department. I think they're as a city employee. It's part of the how it goes. Yeah, you got freedom to say what you want to say, do what you want to do, but if you make them look bad and it's kind of like they have a right to be like, oh, nah, we ain't down with that. That shenanigans. We don't condone that kind of behavior, that kind of talk. No, 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 and let the person go. So yeah,
Okay.
that's how it go.
Okay.
Now I don't know. Now I'm curious to know what specifically ticked this lady off to want to do that.
Something about her check. They say that
I mean, if
she
she ate
was
the
leaving.
food. I mean, first of
Oh,
all,
wait,
I
hold
mean,
on.
how you
It
can't be
says
prejudiced against the Mexican? You going to a Mexican restaurant to get some food?
this is what I don't understand. So it says that they had a receipt with her. She put, this one on the tip line. She just wrote 0 on the tip line and then added in, I hope Trump deports you. Doesn't say that she was upset about anything. I know it was something about her receipt. Yeah,
Okay. Oh, she just
that's what
being
she wrote
me.
on the receipt. Yeah, she just wrote that on her receipt.
Oh, she just being
Hmm.
me. Oh well,
Yeah.
in this climate, you know, that's like a Karen move thing. I can do and say whatever I want to say, and you just gotta take it. And no, yeah. So,
Okay.
um,
Okay.
there's a there's a saying on social media, FAFO, and think this is clearly what one of them. Uh, you found out. You know what I mean?
No, I
F
don't know what
around
that
and find
means.
out.
Oh, that's what you said. Oh, okay. I know Shati's supposed to be rolling her eyes in the back.
So it was just to me, it's another one of those
Okay.
episodes. So she
Okay.
could do what she
Okay.
want to
Good.
do, and now she found out.
Okay. Okay. Well, Terrence happens to agree with you. He says, good. She needed to get fired. And listen, you're gonna suffer consequences all over the place for your actions. And again, you reap what you sow in life. It doesn't say that just because you sowed here, you won't reap from over there. So yeah, and that's exactly what happened. She sold some nastiness into this particular restaurant and to the employees. And I agree with you 100%. You went to eat in a Mexican restaurant and talk about you hope. That means you never plan on going back to eat at that restaurant again, Ains. I mean, yo, what are you
Yeah, you know what I'm
doing?
saying?
What are you doing? So you have these employees. We're shifting gear to this next story. So you have the CDC. They had, of their 1,500 probationary employees, they had, a lot of them let go. And they let go 700 to 750 people. And they ended up sending emails to 180 of them, asking them to please return to work and just come on back, either that Tuesday or Wednesday, and just go ahead back to your normally scheduled assignments. And do you see this happening a lot? Do you see them now having to rescind on a lot of the movement that they make?
Of course, this ain't the first time. This is not the first time. I hope everybody understands. This is not the first time. And to me, this is a clear example of how this administration is mismanaging and whatnot. How do you let people go that you need?
Right.
They ain't do anything wrong, but you just indiscriminately, you don't know what they do, and all of a sudden you decide, I'm gonna let them go. And then you realize later on, oh no, we really need them back. That means you don't really care about what's really
Right.
happening. You gotta delve deep into what's really going on and what they do and the significance. And so, and that is complete mismanagement, poor leadership, poor efficiency, and it's like that is strike. That's a big strike against the administration. It's like, I mean, you do not belong to be where you at. This is not the first time it happened. It happened with the Department of Energy. They let, I don't know the exact numbers. They let a whole lot of people go, and then they had to call some back. Why? Because they let people go who are in charge of the nuclear weapons that has to be maintained and stuff like that. And you just let people go. You like, oh, blah blah blah. Then you're like, oh, we need people to check on the nuclear, because it's a daily thing. And you know how to upkeep whatever they do. But we're talking about nuclear weapons and energy. You just don't let it just sit by and whatnot. Yeah, that is a particular skill, a skill set people have been trained to do, and you're just gonna let them go. And what you think is going to happen? And they realized they had to call them back. Thankfully, I think most of them came back and whatnot. But this is not the first time. This is happening across all agencies and stuff like that. And to me, this is clearly, if you got to take it on the chin. If you start something, this is on you. This is on them.
Wow, this is crazy.
And it's creating more inefficiency. Now, when you're talking about the probationary, now think about that. Now, I didn't know about this. Now, you let probation people who just trying to learn the job, not the people who know the job, people who learning the job. You try to get them back. That's bad.
Yeah.
Not just experienced
people. Right.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. It goes back to what you were saying. They said that they were the outbreak responders. Yo, what are you doing? What are you doing? The outbreak responders. So that means that at any given moment, we could be dealing with an issue on our end, but we ain't got the proper people in place because y'all done let all the people go.
Yeah, I mean, to me though, it's like that now with even with the FAA. Have you seen so many incidents with plane crashing and all this kind of stuff going on? Yeah. I'm in New York right now. I drove up from Georgia because I didn't want to take no plane.
Right.
All this stuff going. I know my brother. He went out. He took the train where he had to go. He said, "I ain't flying."
Wow.
You know, and where's it? And you would think, okay, the leadership would say, listen, it's people not in place. That's why things are happening. And what?
Right.
And where's the leadership to say, okay, is this a coincidence? All of this is happening at the same time.
Right.
Where's the leadership say, listen, all right, America, listen, I know this happened over here in DC. This happened over here in Pennsylvania. Blah blah blah. A Delta plane done flipped over. But everything is okay. I haven't heard nothing at all to put Americans at ease. But no, you can cut the FAA and whatnot, and then we can go further in this, and blame Biden for it.
Yeah, because that's exactly what's gonna go down.
It's Obama's fault.
Oh my goodness, yes. No, excuse me, it's Jimmy Carter's fault.
Yeah, Jimmy Carter's fault.
Thank you so much for joining us this morning, Brother Ainsley. We've got who up? Do I see Pastor? Is that Pastor Jeff in the background?
Yeah.
Oh, what's going on, Pastor Jeff?
What up?
Sorry for being late.
Yeah, we're gonna just dock your pay.
Okay. Put it on my tab.
We're just gonna dock you. Pastor Jeff, we started off talking about the stuff that was going on back in the day that's normal for us now, but we don't see anymore. We didn't talk about the seat belts. There were no seat belts in the car back in the day. We talked about quite a few things. We talked about how they talked about how you could drink water from the garden hose back in the day. You better not go drink no water from the garden hose these days. What does anything come to your mind? Like you used to be able to do this back in the day, and now it's like, nah, that's off the table.
Man, I'd have to think about that.
You ain't got a story for us, Pastor Jeff? Wow.
Yeah, story.
Wow. He ain't got no
don't know.
story. Back in the day when I used to blah, blah, blah.
Come on, bro.
All
You
right.
got something, man. Come on, man. Something simple, man.
Ah, you know, all
Oh,
I can
goodness.
remember is the beepers, the you know, I on the block in the neighborhood, I had the first cell phone in my car, you know, with the cord, like a house phone in the car.
Yes.
Oh, you was balling.
Okay. I was gonna say you had some money.
That's balling days back there, boy.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I had my Volvo 760 with my Anki rims on it, with my
Mm.
with the phone in the car, the first one in the neighborhood, with the phone in the
All
car.
right.
That's
Wow.
balling.
Yes, I needed to be hanging out with Pastor Jeff.
Yeah, I need to know you back then. Yeah.
Okay, true. All right, Pastor Jeff, you have this woman who ate at let me give you the name of the restaurant so we can get this together. Consuela's Mexican Cantina. And when she got up to leave, she wrote on the check 0 and wrote, "I hope Trump deports you." And her server was Ricardo. And she worked for Century 21. And Century 21 got a hold of the fact that this is what their employee had done. And I was asking Brother Ainsley, despite the fact that, hey, she didn't work for, she wasn't there on the work, assignment or anything like that. This is her private life. Should she have been fired by Century 21?
They had to fire her because what she just put out there, even though they probably felt the same way, she's about to ruin their brand. They had to disassociate from her. They had to. Had they not done nothing, Century 21 would have took a hit. It's a lot of us folks buying houses and things, they would have took a hit. They had to get rid of her.
Okay. Okay. And that seems to be the consensus, the thought now. That get rid of her. Because she make y'all look bad, whether she was there or private or not. All righty. So we just got finished talking about the Trump administration, who last month they fired there was 1,500 people in the probationary department of the CDC, and they let go 700 to 750 of those people. They then had to turn around and send out emails asking 180 of them to come back. And Brother Ainsley said, listen, this ain't the first time this is going down. This is something that they have done before. What's your thought?
Everything that Trump is doing, if you notice, he has to backtrack and pause and do, because he's just doing. He out there just wrecking like a wrecking ball, and then realizing, oh, well, maybe I shouldn't have done it like that, or did it like this. So he, that's just his stilo, everything he doing,
Wow.
Because I don't think he know what he doing. He's just doing.
Wow.
Exactly.
Yeah, he's very impulsive. He's acting very impulsively. He's trying to keep to his word when he said, I'm walking up in there and I'm going to just start doing stuff. And he did. He kept his word. He started doing stuff. And like you both have said, because he's not thinking, now he's got to go backwards and backtrack and come on, rehire these people. And I was explaining to I was saying to Brother Ainsley that they were the outbreak responders that he had to call back. And of all people, you have to call back the outbreak responders, yo. You really ain't paying attention to what you're doing here. So let's hope that there's not a whole lot of other areas.
He's not gonna be able to backpedal once he dropped that nuclear bomb. You can't undo that one.
No. and you don't even know what he's going to do. That's the scary part. You have no idea what he's going to do, who he's going to move on next. They're blaming all of our tariffs and all of these things that we have to pay for now because he's making all of these snap decisions. So, well, I want to move on into our topic. We got our other two gentlemen in the background, and I want to talk about the fact that, during the Black Lives Matter campaign and the time after, George Floyd was murdered, they made this Black Lives Matter plaza in Washington, D.C. Well, guess what else they're going back on? The Black Lives Matter Plaza. They are looking to get rid of it altogether and rename it to something else. And I'm going to start with our Pastor KL on this particular issue. Good morning, Pastor KL.
Good morning. Good morning. How you guys doing?
What up, bro?
What it do?
Hey,
What it do?
how you doing, sir?
All right, sir.
All righty. All right. So this Black Lives Matter Plaza took place in honor of the movement back during the pandemic time because of the environment, atmosphere, and all of the goings on. And now they're looking to rescind that and rename it to something else. They're getting rid of it altogether. What's your thought?
Well, I mean, it's not good, but I'm not surprised. They had to do something to hush us up because we were in an uproar. So you had to make us feel good to think that coming down the line was going to benefit us. And now, they're taking that away. It's almost like the DEI. They should change that to DIE because everything DEI is doing is dying. So it's just ridiculous at this point. We got a lot of folks fighting for stuff that we can't win. These folks have the upper hand, and all they're doing is dangling carrots in front of us so that we can be quiet and hope that this will come to pass.
All righty. Do you think that they're not worried about another uproar? Is that what's happening?
I'm sure that they know that there will be another uproar. Do I think they're worried about it? No, they're prepared for it now. When you're prepared for the fight, you win. It's when you don't work out and when you don't exercise and don't prepare for it, then you're going to lose. But they're prepared for the fight. They knew when they made this decision what was coming with it.
All right. We got our brother Al in the room. Let's say good morning to brother Al. Good morning, brother Al.
Chop of the morning, Friday morning, chop of the morning. Hello, fellas. We in the building.
Up? God bless you.
What it do?
Oh, yeah.
Right. Now, brother Al, we're talking about Black Lives Matter Plaza out in Washington, D.C. that took place during the height of, this whole George Floyd incident and all of the other killings that had taken place. And now they're saying, we're taking that back. We're getting rid of this. We're renaming it. And, what's your thought?
Are you surprised? Because I'm not. It's like what Pastor Carol said. It's like taking some hush money. You know what? Let's hush them up. Let's go ahead and put this out there and make them feel good. And then, they're going to die because, unfortunately, our kind, we don't follow through. We'll take a little bit and then we good and then that's it. So, and they know that. So they was like, okay, you know what? Let's make them happy for a little bit. And as soon as it die down, we're going to snatch it right up. And that's what they did.
All righty. Terrence says, People should not be shocked that they're changing the Black Lives Matter. It was a matter of time, and they always give us something to quiet us, but we always pay for it later. Ooh, Brother Ainsley, is there any truth to that? What Terrence just got finished saying? They
What
give
he
us
said?
something and then we pay for it later?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You know, it's like I think, rather say is throw the carrot, here you go, and stuff like that. You know, I mean, the plaza. I think that's when they wrote Black Lives Matter on the roadway,
Right.
and
The
that's the
big yellow
plaza.
letters.
The yellow, big yellow
Yes.
letters.
Yes.
And you know, I believe right here in Brooklyn, they did it by the Fulton um the major store area, Big Fulton Street. Same thing, Black Lives Matter. Yeah, after a while, when the buses keep running over it, people walk on it, you can't see nothing there. It's regular tar. And no, you don't see nothing about it. After a while, it just goes away. So to me, what's happening here is happening over there. After a while, it's gonna just over a period of time, it's just gonna go away. People, get more calm. We're not as upright because we're not in the moment, so to speak. So everybody calm down, and it was like, okay, all right, y'all black folks, y'all Negroes, y'all go, and it won't take it over. And so it's like, yeah, that's it.
Okay, okay. Pastor Jeff,
Yes,
is it true
man.
what Terrence says? He says, they give us something and then we're gonna pay for it later anyway. Is there any truth to that as far as you're concerned?
Listen. We've been doing that for how many generations in slavery? You understand? You give us a little carrot, and we happy. Master done gave us something, you know, and then now they use that as control, and then they take it. You know, they've been playing that game, forever, and we still falling for the game.
All righty, all righty. Terrence says it's just like the stimulus checks. It wasn't free, and we ended up paying them back. Brother Al, my question is, should they fight to keep the plaza there? Should they fight or should they just let it go? Because the mentality is, we know it wasn't ours to begin with. It's not ours now. It was a loaner. So should they just let it go?
No, I think they should fight. We got to learn to stand up, man. That would irritate. We have to learn to stand up. The only time I see that we stand up is when there's violence. When you look what happened out there. Remember we talked about that with the guy with the boat. I think that was out in KL area. And they killed the guy. Everybody stood up. You know what I'm saying? We need to stand up.
Yes, I remember that.
We need to stand up and fight for stuff instead of just saying, well, that's just how it is. We don't understand how powerful we are if we just come together. So I think they should fight. Yeah, stand your ground, fight for it. You gave it to us. I'm keeping it. Just like, you give me something and then you want it back. No, you're not getting that back. You gave that to me. No, sir. That's mine.
Okay. Brother Ainsley, the mentality in this room at least is, listen, it was only a matter of time. They were going to take it back. They only gave it to us during the height of an uproar, and they were afraid. This was to pacify and to appease us. We shouldn't be surprised that they're taking it back. Should they fight for it or should they just kind of let it go? It was a loaner to begin with.
Like I said, I'm not surprised, but I think we need to fight for it. I think we need to fight for it. If it was given to us, so to speak, given to us, I think stuff is earned. Everybody profits off of our suffering and what we got to go through. So I'm like, if only thing we got is a plaza, let me just keep the plaza. Or, all right, you want to take the plaza? My thing, our constituents should be like, all right, if we're gonna take that, what are we getting instead? Because we're gonna easily come back again and do this. I mean, we gotta be able to be like, all right, if you're gonna take this, I gotta get something equal in return. So if I just can't this roadway, what else am I getting? Otherwise, it's going to be a fight. It should be, the pressure always needs to be on. I forgot who said it, but bottom line, you're not going to get nothing by just being so placent and whatnot. We have to be aggressive. You have to be on it. Now, I would believe there are some people who are really fighting, but we just don't hear about it. You know.
Okay.
And another thing, I don't understand how this is really being done, because to me, the street area, that's under the control of the city, not the federal government. So I don't know how they can tell you what to do on your roadway and stuff like that. So I don't understand how that's really being happening. But nonetheless, I'm like, whatever gains we have, even if it's as simple as a roadway or a plaza, that's ours. Period. That's it. If you're gonna take this, what am I getting in return? Or else you could be prepared for it, but we coming back again. We gonna come back. We're gonna protest. We're gonna do what it do. So I'm like, we ain't giving up nothing. Personally, I think we need what's ours is ours now. That's it.
Okay. Pastor Jeff,
Yeah.
should we fight?
You know I'm always for the fight. You know, we fight till we can't fight no more.
Okay. Nice, short, and sweet. Pastor KL, fight or let it go?
Well, I'm gonna make my brothers out of here, Martin Luther King, Nat Turner, and Malcolm X, a little mad right now. I'm gonna make y'all mad right now. Because this is what I say. If you ever put stuff on layaway and you don't pay for it, it goes back. So we put this thing on layaway, and then on the other side, the person who runs the store is watching us kill each other. It's watching us not protest when we kill each other. So Black lives don't really matter to us. And until Black lives matters to us, it ain't gonna matter to them. So we gotta stop being mad at what we keep on projecting. You know, I don't know about New York or Atlanta, but every day somebody is dying over here in Alabama from black on black. And you would think that in Alabama is so racist that white folks are killing us. But no, we killing each other. But yet now we want to go up and march and put our fist up and free everything for Black Lives Matter, and we don't show that. So I can't see how you mad at something, only when somebody takes something away from you. We've been taking us away from each other for years. So to me, it's ridiculous. I don't see why you fight. You just want to do something. Fight for these folks who's killing each other. How about that? Let's fight for us first.
Why you gotta pick on us, man?
Yeah, but with that though, here's my thing. I've been doing a little bit of research on something. All right, we'll discuss it sometime later. But with that whole thing, that black on black crime, here's the thing. Wherever you live at, if you in a black area, that's who's going to be the victim is. White people do the same thing. Asians do the same thing. It happens in every community. The only thing is with us, when it's a black person, when something goes down, it was Bill Cosby before all this stuff back in the day, and he's playing it real nice. A crime happens with a black person on crime or on the newspaper. It's a black man did this to this black person. It's this black person did this to this black person. If it's a white person, it's just a name. It's just a name. But for us, any incident, it's black.
But Angel, where's the after you killed my son? Where's the protest? Why are we not protesting against that? We just upset, we just crying, and now we want revenge. But where's the protest that we need to stop doing that to each other? There's no protest. So what you're saying is true, but we're not protesting against it.
We have enough to protest against the white man. See, we fighting within and without. And the thing is, those that are trying to change the black on black, we're trying to do that, but we're still in a fight on the other side. So you got, while you deal with that, you still got to deal with the other side.
All right, and then you don't hear about white on white crime. It's just a black person. You don't hear about Jew on Jew crime. It's just a black person. You don't hear about Asian on Asian. It's just a black person. So I mean, yeah, we gotta handle that. I get you. We gotta definitely handle that on our side, no matter what. But that's the thing. That's the excuse to be like, oh well, Black Lives Matter. You really? But I'm saying the tensions have always been based on our race. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
So it's like black, black,
well,
black, black. You know, yeah, we got our own issues. Like every other community have our own issue, and per capita we do it maybe at a higher level. But let's not be. Let's keep it. We still got to keep, like Pastor Jeff said, keep the fight on where it needs to be on the
I,
other side.
and if you give people a cause to fight for, we'll stop doing that to each other. If you notice, every time we get a Floyd situation, black on black crime goes down for a minute. Because now we focus on unity for that situation.
But look how crazy that sounds. You got to kill me in order for me to stop killing somebody else. How crazy that sounds. Hey, I can't kill you today, Pookie, because they done got Lawrence over here. You know what I mean? That's crazy.
But it's like that even in the world. Remember Pearl Harbor? Remember
Now we going to
9/11?
the boat.
Let's go back. Let's just go to 9/11. We were all into our own lives, doing our thing. But the minute them towers came down, the whole focus went there. We got to go get Osama bin Laden now. So I'm saying it's just that way. And the only reason why we kill each other, like the preacher said, because we live in amongst each other like that. We're all bottled up. The reason why our statistics is high because they put us all in the ghetto, and it was the design by the white man to do that, and he been doing this since slavery. Pitting us off against each other.
We were
But we
all
still gotta fight the other side.
we were all on a ship. We all got put on a ship. I ain't never seen or read anything when we started killing each other because we was all living in the same quarters.
No,
In fact,
we
they got
can't you
together
can't use that.
and
You can't use that scenario because we were all on a ship getting ready, stolen from our land in shackles. Of course, we wasn't going to fight each other then. You understand?
we in shackles now. We in
Well,
shackles now.
I mean, I,
I'm in
I agree.
shackles. We in shackles now, man.
I agree with that part because
what I can say to that is I wasn't on no ship. I was here, and we didn't land on Plymouth Rock. Plymouth Rock landed on us. That's what I got to
Oh,
I'm sorry, Pastor Steph.
my.
We done took over. I'm sorry, Pastor Steph.
Oh my goodness gracious. Now listen, this is Men's Day. I have no problem listening because there's some really good arguments being made. I'm gonna come back. I want to read some of these comments. We've got I don't even know where to start. We got to check in from our Majesty. Good morning, Majesty. Thank you for checking in. Terrence got a whole lot to say this morning. Says that's a hard one there. If we fight, it would be good, yes, but when we fight, what are they distracting us from? The timing just does not make sense. Anika says, I won't be surprised if they try to decommission the African American Museum. Terrence says, we do try and stop the black on black crime. It's just not televised, and they don't want that out as much as the march. Okay, we only marched for Floyd because it was televised on TV. There's a lot of black on black crimes and other types of crimes that's never televised, so we can watch for people and they don't know about it. A march for the things we don't know about. And we've got a check-in from my Uncle Mike. Good morning, Uncle Mike. Thank you for checking in and dropping by and hanging out with us this morning. Anika says, and history is biased to the one who's telling it. And there's a lot of good, no, I ain't interfering. I ain't jumping in this conversation because there's a lot of good stuff going on here. I asked, okay, they're about to take back our Black Lives Matter Plaza. My personal opinion was it wasn't meant to stay. It was only meant to appease us. That was always my honest opinion. When everybody was jumping up and down and they were saying, hey, we got our Black Lives Matter Plaza. And I was like, well, it's theirs. It's theirs. When they want to change it back, or when they want to take it back, or when they want to, do whatever they want to do, repurpose it, they're going to do it. And look at what's happening now. I'm with Ainsley. I'm trying to figure out, well, how did this become a federal issue? And this is the street of Washington, D.C. Why
Yeah.
are you worrying about our street? What do you got to do with the street? So that just goes to show you how much they are involved, and they get involved when they want to get involved. They don't have to get involved. And we all know that state supersedes fed, city supersedes state, and county supersedes city. So, there's a whole lot of wheeling and dealing and stuff going on here. And there's a lot of concern that there needs to be had. Brother Al, you said we should fight. How do we fight back?
I think one of the things is if you believe in it, stand your ground. If you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. I think one of our biggest problem is we don't know our history. We have to dig deep and know our history. Stop going with what people telling you, and look, like, there's so much stuff with the Statue of Liberty that people don't even know or recognize. I was telling people about that, and it was like, wow. Just real quick, if you look at the Statue of Liberty, there's chains broken by her feet. They don't show that because that Statue of Liberty was put up when slavery was done, and the chains was actually in her hand. And they moved the chains because there were broken chains in her hand that said that slavery was over, and they didn't like that. They removed that and put it down by her feet. And people don't know that. So we need to dig deep and know who we are, know the things we've done, and stand your ground. If you believe in something, stand your ground with it.
All right. Pastor Jeff, you said, I'm always ready for the fight. Let's get to fighting. How do you fight to keep this plaza or anything else they plan on taking back?
Well, the only way you're going to be able to fight is with your mouth and protest, and come together in unity and show them, that, listen, you'll take this, there's going to be some repercussions. Just like, I heard Target is a little upset about the money they lost because some of us got together and stopped spending it for that moment. So, that's where we're gonna have to fight. Gotta hit them, where the money's at. Gotta hit them in the pockets.
All righty. Brother Ainsley, how do we fight? You said let's get to fighting. How do we fight?
Yeah, I agree with Pastor Jeff. Yeah, it's the money thing. You speak where you put your money at. You can't just mistreat me any kind of way. I mean, hey, I'm going to give you my hard-earned money. That's one thing. Another thing, what we can really do, people easily can do right now, is use your voice and make a phone call. For example, right? I think the representative named Al Green, who stood up when Trump had his speech and say, no,
Right.
you do not have a mandate to end Medicare, because a lot of people really need Medicare and whatnot. And basically they threw, they kicked them out, right? And so there are 10 Democrats who agreeing with I think they're going, what's it called? The penalty they're going to give him. 2 of them are from New York. Democrats are from New York. My thing is, like, who on my team is going against me? So to me, those 2 people, I looked them up. 2 white people. I don't forget their names. Representative Suazo and whatnot. Even though they represent actually Long Island, it's still part of New York. My thing is simple: make a phone call to their office, DC. Yo, what are you doing? How come? What is your position on Medicare? Don't you agree with what he's doing? You know what I'm saying? You gotta make your voices known, because for every one person that does call or voices their opinion, they know there's a whole lot more behind that. That's just the 1 out of 100 or thousands behind that. So open your mouth. You can easily make a phone call. I've done it plenty of times. You see something, a crime they don't like, I'll call the DA's office. I'll call the Attorney General's office. Let people know, yeah, I'm watching you and stuff like that. Use your voice. That's easy. Easy. Make a phone call. It don't take no more than 2 minutes. 5 minutes tops.
All right. Do you think that Anika brings up the fact that she says, I wouldn't be surprised if they decommission the AA museum? Do you think they can put their hands on that, Brother Al? And what would that mean if they did?
I think they would try. If they get away with this, then it's like, okay, you know what? Let's see what else we could take away. And like everybody was saying, we have to stand our ground. And if they take that away, they'll be like, wow. And and if people don't stand, like you said, and use their voice, it's like, okay, we took that. What else can we take next? And then they just become a chain line. Let's take that. Let's take this. Let's take that, and it look bad.
Okay. Pastor KL, Anika says, hey, I wouldn't be surprised if they try to decommission the African American Museum. Do you think they'll try to put their hands on that? If they did, what would that mean?
Well, I don't think they would. However, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they would. And again, that'd be a whole different fight. You formally asked the question of how do we fight? Prayer is your best weapon. That should be your first go-to. And I'll tell you something. When they said we're not going to shop in all these places on the 28th, we had a tornado and lightning hit Walmart and it went up in flames. I mean, it's there. You might say that's a little extreme, but you don't know what God can do. You know what I mean? No one got hurt. You know what I mean? But Walmart ain't there no more. So I mean, if you pray, things will happen. I told Shantice the other day, I said, all you need is two. All we gotta do is touch and agree. But you got to have the right two. And you got to be touching and agreeing for the right reason. And you got to really know who God is. We're not touching and agreeing just because you want the stimulus check and you need a few dollars, but you don't know God. God ain't blessing that. So, prayer is our weapon.
Okay. Serge says the Jewish people won't let Medicaid get terminated.
True.
Oh, goodness gracious. All right. Pastor Jeff, does the African American Museum, should they be concerned?
I think right now, anything black should be concerned. Okay? Trump is trying to dismantle, anything that might lift us up, or keep us in the forefront. You understand? He's trying to, change the what do you call the landscape. So anything, black museum, black history, black this, black that, anything, he's going to try to change that.
Okay.
So Pastor Jeff, you think that Pastor Steph should be concerned? She black. She got a show they may come for. They ain't taking the Due Time show without a fight. You hear me? Without a fight, they not taking us down.
I'm not fighting for her, man. I'm not fighting for her. You know what I'm saying? She on her own.
See, that's what Pastor Kale talking about right there.
Crabs in the barrel. The crabs in the barrel, Pastor Jeff. Oh my goodness. Brother Ainsley, I had a question until Pastor Jeff just hurt my feelings.
It's due time that the show come down.
Oh my goodness gracious. Oh my goodness gracious. I don't know if I was going to ask a question, something to the effect of, what else should we be what else should we be concerned about as Black people? Yesterday, Wednesday, was it yesterday or Wednesday? I was asking the Due Time crew, what are you concerned about as a Black man? As a Black man, something that has not been mentioned today. What are you concerned about them coming after?
Oh, that's big. That's big. All right, and that's what actually what my I'm trying to dig in and do some research. It may be a little bit controversial, but the thing is, this whole DEI, um, you know, I think because black people, we're the face of supposed to be the face of welfare. We're the face of all this, the face of it. But the what gives us the legal standing to fight things is the Civil Rights Acts of 1964, all right? But all other people profit or get the gains off of our struggle. You know who profits more from affirmative action, and it's white women. It's our struggle that got this going, but everybody else benefits from it. From DEI, yeah, it's like we're like the face of it, but who benefits from that? We're like number 4 and 5. You got the white women, the alphabet community, they benefit from it and stuff like that. So my concern is that I always say think there is the alphabet community agenda, the gay agenda, if you will. You know, they're aligning their issue with our civil rights issue. All right. When I'm starting to dig into this DEI, it seems like, their issue is becoming our problem as African American, because they're associating that, using that to erode, to get back, take out. They want to try to erode the Civil Rights Acts of 1964. Everybody said, "Oh, well, we don't need this. We don't need it's everybody should be treated fairly and stuff like that." There's a reason why those things are in place. There's a reason why there's a Civil Rights Act. There's a reason why there's a Voting Rights Act. Because without it, people are gonna do lawless, do what they want to do. We will revert back to those prior days. People do not do right. There's a reason why it's there, and I see things trying to an attempt to roll things back. First is D&I, but we're the face of it. We're fighting for it. We benefit not as much as we think we are. We are, but everybody else benefits from it. So my thing is, we need something that's more. What is specifically for as a black man, black people, for us, really for us, not so much with the alphabet community. They benefit from us, and because of them, also we're taking a brunt of stuff. Because of them now, they're going off the D&I. Because of them now, we get rid of affirmative action. Because of them now, they want to roll back the Civil Rights Acts. Without that, we really have no leg to stand on whatsoever. That's my concern.
All right. Brother Al, as a black man, what are you concerned about during these days of unrest?
I am concerned, which nobody talked about and forgot about. I'm concerned about the cops killing us. They still were putting in place that they can kill us and don't have to say why. Before you got to say, okay, this is what happened, and it's like Trump trying to put in place of, okay, you kill him and that's it. What happened? I thought he was this, I killed him, and that's it. So that's a big concern too, because again, we fight back. Okay, we need to get rid of him. Let's stop him. His light is out. My tail light is out, and I got shot. So that's a concern for me.
Okay, all righty. Pastor Jeff, what's a concern of yours as a black man?
That we going backwards, and it's going to be where, with all that affirmative action, all that stuff, and he changed in that DI stuff and everything, that we actually going backwards, and we won't be able to get jobs or, open up this or get the grants that other people are getting and all of that. They trying to reverse all that. So my concern is us going back to those days, where we couldn't get in the door.
Okay. Pastor KL, how are we wrapping this up today?
Well, I mean, my concern is the same as Al's, to be honest with you. I'm just concerned that I want to go home every day. I just want to be alive. And it's kind of different here because I'm in a racist state. So it's more prevalent that I die before somebody else died. And it doesn't have to be by the hand of the police. You know what I'm saying? Being that, it's okay to do what you do, and he's sanctioning it, the president. And not only that, once I die, once you kill me, he's gonna get you out of jail because y'all gonna figure out a reason where I should have died. So I didn't even die, for a purpose. So that's one of my fears every day. That's why I said, prayer is my weapon. Because every day when I leave home, I gotta pray that not big things that I want $1,000 or $1 million. I want to pray that I can get back home to where I started at.
All righty. We got some thoughts.
Good point, bro. Good point.
Very good points being made here today. My due time man, always giving us food for thought, taking us into a thought-provoking weekend. Thank you so much for joining us today and your contribution. We pray you have a blessed weekend.
All right.
Oh, you
All
do
y'all
the
take care.
same. Don't worry, KL. I got your back. I'm coming down there. Somebody borrow my pig, KL. I'm flying too.
All right.
Have a balloon release.
You too, Pastor Steph. I got your back. They try to mess with the Due Time show. I got your back.
Thank you, Brother Al. Thank you. All righty. Let's read some of these last few comments. What Trump is doing is not only about Black, it's about gender as well. I feel sorry for my kings and queens. I'm scared of being a Black man in New York because of people being afraid of the color of my skin. And we got a comment. We need to bring Black back. Tulsa Black Market. They see something in us, men, that some of us don't see in ourselves. Wow. It's sad how we can't fight together and stay together. Woo! Wow. What a conversation. I can just sit back and partake of the food that's hitting the table. We talked about, the woman who went into the Mexican restaurant and left a 0 tip and said, I hope Trump deports you. We talked about Trump and Elon Musk and his powers that be, who just went in and started slicing members and employees of the CDC, and then had to come back so that we could have people on the front line of the outbreak response. We now talk about the Black Lives Matter that has gone, viral, if you will. And then now it's at risk of being wiped away. Was it ever really ours? Is a question. Like I said a little while ago, I agree. When they first came out and they said, we're going to plaster this across the streets of, places like Washington, D.C., Black Lives Matter. Nobody at that time anticipated Trump being back in office and now this being wiped away. Ainsley says, hey, out here in Brooklyn, it's on the street of Fulton. However, once the buses and the cars run over it and the tar begins to get towed up and, the weather begins to erode our streets, so goes the Black Lives Matter. Well, these are the things that we need to consider. The Bible tells us, do not, store up things that the moths can get that would be gone, but store up your treasures in heaven. Ooh. Pastor KL says, prayer is your weapon. We talked about how do you fight back? No faith without works is dead. So we do understand that even though you're praying, you need to really be down here on earth doing some stuff, because your prayer is just the faith part. Your works is, what are you doing? Brother Angel says, hey, make phone calls and, we need to protest and march and, write letters and all kinds of things. And that's our works. However, here's the problem. Man puts too much into earthly things. What's going on, what's not going on, how we're treated unfairly, what benefits are we not getting, and all of those things are valid concerns. Absolutely. However, we don't care nothing about God. We care nothing about the Lord. We care nothing about how our lives are being lived in Him. All of our energy, all of our thought, all of our works are going into, Black Lives Matter and, fighting for this cause and fighting for that cause and making sure we do this and making sure we do that. And we can't even make our way into a church once a week. We too busy talking about church hurt. All of this hurt we endure. The Black Lives Matter hurt. All of this hurt we endure day in and day out. You keep on pushing. You keep on moving. You keep on pressing your way. But as soon as something goes down in the church house, now all of a sudden the world ends. It stops. Oh, I'm so hurt. I can't function. I can't do anything. I can't believe that that's what happened. But you've just proven right here in today's conversation, the word is we must fight. We've been fighting. Whether it's the right way, whether it's the wrong way, we have been fighting. But are you fighting for your right to the tree of life? Are you fighting for your right into eternity? Are you pressing your way and trying to make it into the kingdom? Is that getting your attention? What is getting your attention? Is it the things here on earth? Is that all you're worried about? Is that all you're doing? Is focusing on that? But yet your relationship with the Lord is at a zero, like that lady put on that receipt and said, I hope that Trump deports you. Well, that's exactly what the enemy is doing. He's taking you straight to hell with him. And that is something that we need to think about. What are we focusing on? How much energy are we putting into all of the earthly things? Are we storing up all the things that the moths can come and get rid of? Or are we storing up our treasures in heaven where nothing can destroy it? That relationship with God, the only individual that can destroy your relationship with the Lord is you. That's the only one who can tamper with that. Can nobody mess with that but you? Even those who are crying over in the corner about their church hurt. Can nobody destroy that relationship with God but you, regardless of what the church has done? What does that have to do with the relationship between you and the Lord? Make sure that that's what's getting your attention. I promise you, you will not go wrong, because when the day comes when you got to look backwards at all the stuff and the Lord is saying, I'm sorry, you were like, did not do this in your name, and did not do this in your name, Lord. And he's going to say, get away from me, you workers of iniquity. I know you not. Bye-bye. Are you going to be ready to handle that? I don't think so. So come on. Let's make sure we do what needs to be done right now. Let us focus. Prayer is your key, because prayer is going to launch what you do in your works. Oh, did I just say that? Prayer is going to tell you and instruct you as to what you need to do here on earth, whether it's the phone call, protest, letter writing, standing still, whatever it is. You go to God and God will instruct you accordingly. There you have it. You've been watching It's Due Time with Pastor Steph. Join us Monday through Friday from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. where we discuss matters of the heart, mind, and spirit. As you go through your day, be sure to set your mind on things that are above, not on things that are on the earth. They will only serve as a distraction Remember, prayer changes things. It's Pastor Steph signing off. And I want to thank my Due Time crew, my men, for always coming through big time and helping take us into a thought-provoking weekend. Thank you for hanging out with us all weekend, keeping that chat room live. Make sure you come back next week, God's space, and do it all over again. Invite a friend. Please do not miss this opportunity to give Christ your life right now. Please do not miss this opportunity to strengthen that relationship with the Lord right now, because later is not promised to any of us. Until Sunday, God spares, where we're in the Word Prayer Project room. Make sure you come on in and see what the topic is we're going to be praying about. Until then, God spares. I love